All right, boys and girls, let's go with the lesson. Today is second lesson on permissions in Rocky Linux. So let's go with it. Modifying permissions in Rocky Linux. Modifying permissions in Rocky is straightforward. Once you understand the basics of permissions, here's a detailed guide on how to use the chmod command to modify a file or directory permissions using the chmod with numeric notation. The permissions can be changed using the chmod um, command followed by numeric codes that represent the desired permissions for the user group and others. The numeric codes are read, write, and execute. It will be 7. Then read and write, it will be 6. We have 5 for read and execute. The 4 will be read only, and the number 3, it will be write and execute. Number 2, write only. Number 1, execute only. And finally, 0 means no permissions. So let's go with the first example. We are going to grant all permissions to everyone for the file called file name. So let's just copy and paste it there. We are going to get an error if the file doesn't exist. So it looks like it doesn't exist. So let's just create it first with the touch command, touch file name. Now we use the up arrow key in order to repeat the command from before. And now we have successfully add all permissions to that specific file. The file name. There you go. You have all permissions for that specific file. Now let's continue with the step-by-step guide, and we are going to grant permissions of 700. Granting full permissions to the user and no permissions to the group and others. It will be 700. So let's just copy and paste it there. And we are going to see the difference with the ls minus L and then file system. It will be a different story. There you have all permissions for the first one, and then the other ones doesn't have any permissions. Do you remember what all of them mean? So let's go to the exec file and we will see in a clear way the meaning for all of them. So we are granting the following permissions. At this moment, we are granting 700. So we add 0 there, 0 there. No permissions for group or others, only to the owner or the specific user of the file. In this case, only the owner has permissions. It will be 700. That will be basically what we have at this moment. Now let's continue with the guide and see what else do we have important. Okay, now we're going to do 744 in order to grant full permissions to the user. So I'm going to do that right now. If you take a look at the file, I made a mistake here. Maybe when I was copying and pasting the file, it is actually 744 what we need to add now. Not to worry about. We're not going to pay attention to this one. I'm just going to copy and paste it in the terminal. And now if I run the command again, it will be a different story. All permissions for the group, and then for the rest of them, it will be read permissions only. What are those? They are basically group and others. So it will be like this. We have number 4 here. We have number 4 there. 744 is the one we are working on right now. Let's continue with the next. So the chmod command is a symbolic notation. It will help us to change permission. This method is often more intuitive because you specify exactly what you want to change without needing to remember numeric codes. So this is user, group, and others. We have who, then the operation, and then the permissions. The operation can be plus, minus, or equal, and the permissions will be read, write, and execute. So we're going to copy the next one. Basically, This is for, we're adding for all, we are adding execute permissions for the file name. So let's just copy and paste it there and run it. If we run the command, now we have basically a execute permissions for all of them. And that is basically what we are adding at this specific moment. From the previous command that we are adding execute permissions for all of them. So you can see execute there, and there. So the group, the owner, the group, and others, they will have execute permissions. So it will be basically that we are adding a one here and then a one there. It will be 755, the numeric equivalent to what we are doing right now, but we are doing it in a different way, in a different notation. So let's continue with the guide and see what else do we have. Okay, the O and the W, removing the right permissions from the group and others. So let's just copy there. Where do we have others? There. Others, it will be the O. Oh, the O. So it will be for group others, and we are removing it will be the operation for minus W, right permissions. So let's just copy and paste it there in the terminal. And now if we run the command from previously added, we will see that the right permission will be removed from the group and the other. It will stay in the owner only. All right, let's continue with the guide. Now with the following, it will be the exact permissions. Let's take a look what it means. Setting exact permissions for the first one. What is the first one? It is the user of the specific file. So the user will have, or the owner, it will have read, write, and execute. The group will have read and execute, and the other will have R. It will have read permissions. So let's just copy and paste it there and take a look to see what happened. Basically, it will be the same. It will be the same. Oh, there is something different in this one. We are removing execute permissions for the other. We are leaving only read permissions for the other. So it changed a little bit. It changed. We don't have execute permissions for other any longer. All right, let's take a look at the following, making a script. Okay, this is an interesting one. So I have to create a script. Let's just go ahead and ask for some help. So I need a basic Linux script to run call the script that sh to be run in Rocky Linux. Okay, give me a motivational message. So we have to wait for a moment. This is a topic that we will cover later, like in future courses, but for now, you don't really have to worry about it. So I'm going to copy this script in a few minutes. It's taking some time. I need to copy there. Let's go to this one and run sudo nano and then enter. After adding the password, I can paste it there. Hopefully, I will be able to. Let's just go to the artificial intelligence there. Let me just copy and paste it there. Control O, Control X. Yes, I want to modify. Let me try that. Oh, I think the name of the file is ES. So let me just change it. So it will be mves to script. .sh. There you go. Now we have to add permission to that specific file. So how do we do it? Let's go to the artificial intelligence there. In order to add permissions, you can just copy this one. We are adding execute permissions, but we need the sudo command to do so correctly. So if we run ls-l, you will see different colors there, and it has the execute permissions correctly set up. Now let's continue with the guide. Okay, this is for the user to add the execute permission to that specific file. So let's just change them for a moment. Remember, it's important to use the sudo here. If we run the ls, you will see the permission is only for the specific user of the file or the owner of the file. You have all the permissions. Then for the other one is the group. For the group, you have execute and read permissions, and for the others, you will have execute permissions there. So that is basically what we are running into. There are different ways. There are different ways to run the script. We're going to start with the first option. If you type sudo, then that slash, then a script .sh, you have it. It worked successfully. Keep pushing forward. You're doing great. Now the other one is, let me just double check. There are other ways. So let me just double check the ways that we have to run the script. Okay, what is the other way to run the script? Because I try to remember all of them, but I don't remember at this moment. There is another one. I think it's batch. If we run batch, yeah. Let's do it like that. Let's do batch, then script, and you see we finally run the script the 2 times successfully in 2 different ways. Let's go back to the topic of permissions because we are stepping out a little bit from the topic. So from removing the right permissions, we're going to copy the following. Let's just copy this one and paste it there. Now you see that the file doesn't exist, so we use the touch command, some file.txt, and we run the permissions from before, ls, then some file.txt, and there you go. The permissions are basically the others. We are removing the right permissions from others in that specific file. So that is basically what we are doing. Let's just double check. This command ensures that others cannot modify a file. Okay, the following command will be done to read only for everyone. So if we run this command, it will be for read only to everyone. But why is it not working? Do you know? Because the file doesn't exist. Remember, touch read only file.txt. Now the file should be created if I am able to write it correctly. All right, now add chmod 444, the name of the file. And then if we run it again, read only file.txt, you see basically read only file. It only has read permissions. That's basically what we are doing right now. Now we return to the numeric symbol. So how do we validate read permissions here? Okay, it will be 0 there, then 0 over here, and there you go, 444. Both the owner, the user of the specific file, the group, and the others, they have the permissions for read, and read. Okay, let's go to the guides and see what else are we missing. Okay, I think we have to cover most of everything that we need to cover in this chapter. So understanding and modifying file and directory permissions in Rocky Linux is essential for managing access control. The chmod command, whether using numeric or symbolic notation, provides a flexibility needed to set the permissions appropriately. Practicing modifying permissions in your home directory where you can safely experiment without affecting system bias or production environments, it is essential and important. So please remember to keep on practicing and practicing because practice makes perfect. And it's been a pleasure to work with you along more commands in the Rocky Linux environment. Boys and girls, take care and see you around. Have an amazing week.